It was a Friday night, and I was doing what every music ed major at Westminster wants to do on a Friday night, read about John Dewey. It was getting late, and I hadn't even made it past the second sentence of the 6th chapter before...
What?
Hi, my name is Miss Rosebud. Welcome to the Dewey Garden Classroom.
The what?
The Dewey Garden Classroom. Haven't you ever heard of Dewey?
Didn't he have something to do with decimals?
That's another Dewey. I'm talking about John Dewey. You were attempting to read a book titled John Dewey and the Art of Teaching for your Critical Pedagogy 2 class with Dr. Frank Abrahams.
Who is this John Dewey character?
John Dewey was an educational reformer. He had progressive views on education and the role that it plays in society. Do you remember the title of the chapter in the book you were reading before you fell asleep?
I think it was titled Teacher is Gardener, but that's all I remember reading.
Among the many analogies he made of the role of a teacher in the classroom, one was that of a teacher as a gardener and the students as seeds.
I have no idea what you were talking about.
We'll begin by looking at a few of Dewey's key beliefs. One was that the students' native capacities are the starting point of educational gardening and growing. The second belief was that the educational environment is the means of developing native capacities. The third belief was the educator is to provide the educational environment to nourish the students' native abilities. The authors of the book you are reading also put in a fourth belief that says the unending goal of education is growth. Indeed, education is seen as growth, and growth is seen as education.
Students have native capacities and what now?
You have much to learn, future music educator. Let's start by taking a closer look at the first belief. Do you remember what it was?
I think it was that the students' native capacities are the starting point of educational gardening and growing.
Good memory. The idea is that a student's psychological maturation and social enculturation is the starting point from which growth begins. You can compare the idea of native capacities to seeds. Plants don't just pop out from out of nowhere. They begin as seeds. Which brings me to the second key belief.
I think I remember what that was. It is that the educational environment is the means of developing a student's native capacities.
Just like the environment determines how well a seed will develop into a plant, the educational environment determines how well a student will be able to develop their native capacities to their fullest potential. It's the interaction between a seed and its environment, which includes water, sunlight, and soil, and other conditions that allow it to sprout into a plant. Likewise, it's the interaction between a student and his environment, which includes the classroom, and the relationship with his peers and teacher that allows him to develop his native capacities.
Students' native capacities are like seeds, and the interaction between those seeds and their environment is what helps them develop.
Exactly. Now, the teacher in the classroom can be seen as a gardener, tending to her plants in the garden. A gardener will utilize the surrounding conditions and do her best to provide the environment that the seeds need to develop into healthy plants. A teacher must do the same. In order to provide the kind of environment that gives students true learning experiences, Dewey believes it's extremely important for teachers to study their students in the context of their lives, and not just in the classroom.
Oh, it's like Facebook stalking.
Not at all. Studying your students is more than just picking up random facts about them in the classroom. It's thinking of their lifestyles. Does the student come from a family in which English isn't their first language? Does the student live in the inner city or in a more rural area? It's also taking note of what matters to them. Dewey believes teachers should observe the way students respond to their experiences and their thoughts manifested as actions. This is a way for you as a teacher to assess if students have completed what is known as the learning circle. When you study students like this, it's like a gardener who makes careful and detailed observations about their plants and how they respond to different conditions.
What about the fourth belief, the one about how the unending goal of education is growth? I feel like this is where the analogy might not work so well. Pumpkin seeds will grow into pumpkins and nothing else, but humans can grow into any kind of person they want.
That's a great point you bring up. Dewey says that because of this, students and their potentialities need more attention and direction than the growth of plants. Here's the idea of directed growth. You as a teacher must have unbiased visions of where your students' potentialities can lead.
It's all connected. Do you think you could provide me with an experience to see all of these concepts in action?
Yes.